Alright, so we are live for the first round of Bannerlord versus Ambxdia, or Ambxdia, however you pronounce that. It's a tough word, I think. So we have Vick, and who's that other guy on Cav? Alejandro is on the opposing team. So we have RCC Rhine, who's actually fought on a much lower division. I think he was a substitute player for Bannerlord. And it looks like we have the factions mislabeled. They did just change factions last minute, so the scoreboard does not accurately reflect which team is which. We have Alejandro jousting Rhine, and here comes Vick to contest with him. Would not be surprised if the second Crusader Cav comes in out of nowhere, possibly blindside somebody, but infantry fight is ongoing right now, looks like. It's kind of slow. Probably did that Archer, and there comes a Cav. So it's actually Ambxdia's teams on Azurai and Bannerlord's teams on Crusades. We'll adjust that on the scoreboard ASAP. Might have missed some of the action while I made that swap, but looks like... Legolas is getting pushed and is taking some hits from Crusader 5. It's going to be a tough duel for him because Crusader 5 is really good on infantry. The second Crusader comes to help Legolas. Looks like it's going to be a loss on the first fight for Crusader 5. But, you know, Azurai has 3 lives in this map in the first round and really all rounds. Nothing to do with this map in particular. That's just how their economy works. Pretty big kill from Rhine. Kind of risky to go for the Archer, but it worked out for him. So right now, Rhine is doing best on Azurai Cav for Ambxdia, and Alejandro's got slightly more score on Crusades. That's Bannerlord's team currently. I just realized Alejandro is still on his first life, and Horse is looking pretty healthy, too. Rider's a bit damaged. Hard to say how much. So to clarify, the scoreboard reflects this is match number 2. And so what that means is the second match in the A Division reformulated. This is the Super Ego / A Division League. The reason we're calling it Super Ego, it's a long story. What it basically means is that a second life cap? No, he survived, but I think he might be... Who was that? Is that Rhine? I think it was Rhine who got tagged there, maybe. Hard to say which one it was, but yeah, he got hit pretty hard, and I think he might be second life. Yeah, it looks to be... It was Alejandro's first life. He was playing kind of risky as a result of that fact. Is that Legolas? He's about to go down there? A second life? He's out. Azurai is, I think, going to take this pretty easily. Alright, well, we had a ragdoll fly off the map there. Obliterated. Okay. Takes flight. Alejandro on his last life. Dismount from Rhine. I actually fought Rhine in C Division, which this might be an indicator that Rhine is overqualified for C Division if he's qualified enough to be in an A Division team. So, yeah. I'm very glad that my scoreboard is covering up the majority of the chat right now. That was a really wise decision for a variety of reasons. So, protecting the sensitive YouTube viewing audience. Alright, so we have Rhine and Vick on Cav again. No surprises there. Both very solid Cav players. Let's say Alejandro and Ephnel. I didn't actually see Ephnel directly much. Another very solid Cav player. I don't think he actually went Cav that much in the first match that he played in versus Maddox's team, but they did quite well regardless. You know, Ambxdia's team had an insane score in terms of rounds won. Where's the fight going here? In terms of round one for their first match on Sunday night, that was. So we had 3 matches. Sorry, not Sunday night. It was Monday. We had 3 matches on Monday, if I recall correctly. It was all 3 A-Division matches, and Ambxdia got 12-1. What that actually meant is they got a 6-1 on Maddox's team, and Scrickster, who's fighting with Maddox, who infamously, you know, not the most resilient to having a rough start. He kind of called it there for his team and stopped playing, and at that point they forfeited, so a 6-1 turned into a 12-1. So Ambxdia is way up in score versus some other teams right now, kind of top in terms of rounds won. Now, in terms of actual matches won, the most they could have won is, you know, 1 match overall. There's only been 1 match completed in A-Division thus far. All teams have fought their opposing teams. That was actually streamed pretty much, you know, in full for just about 2 matches just earlier this week. You know, the first real infantry fight ongoing, and yep, they go for the archer. Rhine gets a hit in on Legolas, but he's still up. It's going to be really big if Azrai can get out Legolas on his first life, but they don't quite manage that. He's quite injured, but they really want to take out Legolas. He's getting a lot of score in. He's a very solid archer. He's going to remain kind of the orbit of any infantry fight. They're really going to be pushing him. I mean, they have 2 options: go right for him, or try to pretend that he doesn't exist, and, you know, as much as possible. You know, they can try to match him. Oh, Hancock! I didn't actually realize. I don't know how I didn't realize that. But Bannerlord, Hancock is not getting as much score as you might expect. I mean, he's probably the best archer in NA right now. So I would say definitely at least matches, if not outmatches and outclasses Legolas. But for whatever reason, better positioning or luck, whatever, just where the fights have gone, Legolas has significantly more score than Hancock right now. You know, that probably won't be true across all sets. I imagine Hancock's going to average quite a bit more score, but we will see on that. So first fight, I think... Let's see, who's got lives left? So Azrai still has 3 of their players 3 spawns. So they don't have to completely clean up here to win. They just need to do some damage. And oh, they get a player out. That's going to be really helpful to get Orc Warboss out. Very solid player in infantry to have him down. He's out. That's going to hurt them in the next fight here. So I think all the Azrai infantry had respawns. I think Legolas took a huge hit there, but Vick, is he almost out? He has no respawn, so he's almost out on his last life. Crusader 5 has javelins, Forsaken Chains, one of the best duelists in NA, pushing with Crusader 5. And Crusader 5 and Chains on the same team, kind of crazy. Like, widely considered some of the best infantry players. So obviously, Ambxdia's team is not... They have a very solid roster, and it's going to be a tough team to beat. I have not yet updated the score to reflect that Ambxdia's team is up 1 round currently. They did win the first round. I would say this is a pretty heavily favored matchup in favor of Azrai. So, you know, I wouldn't draw huge conclusions from the winner of this first half of this first map. You know, it's expected for Azrai to definitely have the advantage throughout here. So, it's not going to be really an upset, but kind of a return to normal if in the second half we see a lot of rounds won from Bannerlord when he gets his turn or his team's turn on Azrai. Let's go ahead and increment the scoreboard for 2 rounds in favor of Ambxdia. All right. Side note, guys, if you have any audio issues, questions, comments, please do go ahead and toss those in the YouTube chat. I do look at the chat. I do not monitor Discord, so YouTube chat is definitely the right place to go to if you have any recommendations, concerns, questions, or comments. And looks like we are in the 3rd round, potentially the last round of the first half of Khan's Keep here. Rhine taking a pretty nasty hit there from, I believe that was Ephnel. And... I have a 2v1 situation here. I think Alejandro comes back in, misses a stab just barely on, I believe that was Vick. And, you know, Rhine's still playing very aggressively despite having I'd say reasonably aggressively, despite being very hurt. I think he's probably just about one tap away from being knocked out here. And, you know, again, I fought Rhine in C Division, didn't do nearly as well as Alejandro and Ephnel against fighting him, obviously. But I don't feel too bad about having a tough time against him. It's pretty crazy. He's in C Division also for the other stages, but he's also a Super Ego substitute player. I think he's not a starter, he's a substitute. So I guess Ambxdia's team was short a player, or... It must be the case if he's not their starter lineup. Vick goes down on Ambxdia's team. It's the Azurai Cav. Very spread out fight here. Hancock is just free shooting, kind of unopposed. Let's see how this goes out. You know, he doesn't often lose those jousts, but Alejandro gets in a pretty nasty hit there. He's probably going to get shot again here. Not be there he goes. He's got to be kind of low, at least on his horse. Taking 2 hits there. There's Legolas. Is he going to get hit here? It's a good shot by Legolas. Hancock's moving over to get a better angle on him. Legolas goes down. That was his first life, so not a disaster for Bannerlord's team. Yeah, Alejandro pretty aggressive again, going right for Hancock. You know, Hancock was... Oh, that was huge. Really good team play from Ephnel. There was no way that Vick could have known that there was a second cav around that corner. And I don't know if that was just fortunate positioning or if that was planned, but if it was planned, that was huge. So in any case, they either took advantage of a unique opportunity or they planned it out together. You know, most likely it was kind of happenstance, but either way, well played. Rhine gets a pretty big 50-50 in on Alejandro. I think that was his first life, while Rhine is on his last cav life. So that was really not a huge deal for Alejandro. He had the life to use and lose, and I imagine he had some hits that he was already taken on his horse, so might have made sense to play risky there. Ephnel is very low on his last life as cav. It's got to be tough to be an infantry player when you have 2 of the best archers on either side of the game. I mean, you're talking about fighting with the best archers and the best cavalry on both teams. You know, even though these are also some of the best infantry players in the game, it's going to be hard for them to get any score. From a certain perspective, kind of oppressive to play in the shadow of very good cav players, very good archers, who are very punishing to play against. I assume Azurai has another set of lives here. Not certain about that. It looks like they're fighting kind of split. That's not great for them. Yeah, they're really split right now. I'm not sure what happened. I don't know if they were out of position. Like, why are they fighting so split? Did they have to? Is morale low? I think, you know, as a spectator, I may not always have the best view on morale. I don't know if the star indicator for, you know, each star is one 30-second block. I know that the flag indicator is accurate in terms of like which flag is in play and who's captured it, but I think the morale level is not always accurate. You'll see how it's actually decreasing even though Azurai holds the flag. So maybe there was a reason why they fought so split. I don't have like the streamer tools. There are streamer tools that I don't have available to myself, which would do a better job to indicate who actually has morale. I never really know what's going on. I have to kind of guess based on who's controlling the flag at what times. So, more than likely, the reason they're playing so split there on Azurai is due to morale factors, but it was not an optimal scenario. They still survived and had most of their last lives up for this final fight here ongoing. Pretty big kill from Legolas, and not going to be enough, though. Tries for a...
I have the streamer tools!
Yeah, I mean, this is, you know, Crusader's best round to win, and... Oh! They might actually win it. Alejandro, Crusader 5 is one of the best duelists. Alejandro's no slouch himself, but wow, this is gonna be huge. Are they gonna win a morale? Did
Is this an official
Azra win a
match?
morale here? They did win on morale. That's crazy. That is so crazy. Oh my god.
Official match, Faith?
All right. Well, a 3-0 in favor of Ambxdia's team. Definitely the favored faction here. Ambxdia's on Azrai for this first half on Khan's Keep. But yeah, a morale win. I was really hoping for a duel to actually complete, and that's kind of funny. I mean, it would have been a lot more entertaining to see an actual fight there, but I guess more humorous that there was no final fight, fight to the death 1v1 to decide if Matt the Lord would win any rounds in the first half, and they do not, which, again, does not really indicate a stomp. By no means can you assume that. Let's go ahead and flip the faction indicators here. Do I have a speaker on stage with me?
Hello?
How's it going, Les?
Oh,
do I not have your audio?
And I'm ready to watch!
I am not hearing your audio. Let me change my audio device. I think it's my fault. It is, in fact, my fault. So try now.
Hello?
Now I hear you. Go ahead. Did it restart?
It's time for me to assist you in your streaming attempt of this BSL makeout match! I hear Matt the Lord is fighting somebody. Who's he fighting?
Ambxdia.
Ooh, I hate Ambxdia. I mean, it doesn't sound like it's been so good so far for Matt the Lord. I'm just entering the scene here. What seems to be the situation, Pete? Can you brief me a little bit?
Yeah, so Ambxdia had the favored faction for the first half of Khan's Keep. They were playing an Azurai, and they went 3-0. And what was pretty funny here is Crusader and Alejandro were in a duel 1v1, and they just got moraled. Matt the Lord's team on Crusaders, they just got moraled, and it was a 1v1 situation. It was their last chance to pick up a round in the first half, and they got killed. So kind of unfortunate for them.
Unfortunate.
I think the
unfortunate to hear that. Hopefully, we'll see something come out from Matt the Lord's team. Looking at the teams, if we look at the Crusader team, this is just my take. I've been playing this game with these players for years and years and years now. We got Hancock, Vick, Rhine, and Crusader. Those 4 players on the Crusader team have been playing Mountain Blade. Most of them, I think, not Crusader. So Rhine, Vick, and Hancock have all been playing since around 2014 Warband. Crusader 5, Chains, and Am are all Bannerlord exclusive players, but Crusader 5 has been here for the last 5 years, and Chains and Am are up-and-comers who've been playing for the last 2. By up-and-comers, they've made it. They've gone through the whole process. I used to be able to smoke both those guys in duel, and now I can touch neither of them in duel. They're really good. And then if you look at the Azrai team, Sloppy's been playing for 5 years. Alejandro is an ex-DOF member, ex-VK member, played this game for, I think he played with Fire and Sword when that came out. He's been playing the Warband Mountain Blade franchise since 2011 when it first came out. He's an old head, and he's really smart for that reason. He's been playing this game for so long, he's got really good mechanics. Warboss is leader of John. He can make something happen here. But they have Legolas. They don't really have the same amount of S-tier players. If you look at these 2 teams, the only S-tier player on Azrai arguably would be Ephnel and Alejandro. Those 2 are somewhat... I mean, they're both A-tier players for sure, but S-tier is kind of... They're not the same level as Hancock in terms of impact they can put into a skirmish match. So, I mean, and same with Crusader. Crusader's the only S-tier inf on the server right now. Kind of not shocked that... Matt the Lord's team's struggling a little bit here.
Besides Crusader 5, who do you think is the next best infantry player on either team?
In North America? Or...
in these teams. It's like if we had to rank them.
If we're talking about infantry players, that's actually tough. It's still on his team. If Crusader 5 is not... If he's the best inf on his team, second best inf on his team is either Hancock for his group fighting ability or Chains for his raw mechanical talent.
Right.
If we look at the inf lines, Matt the Lord is probably the best infantry player on his team, unless you want to count Sloppy. I think Metalord I'd take Metalord over Sloppy any day of the week. And Matt the Lord doesn't compare to Chains, Crusader, Hancock on Inf at all. I'd say him and Am are relatively close. I give slight edge to Matt the Lord just because he's been playing the game a lot longer.
Is the server getting DDoSed here for anybody else, or just me?
You cut out for a second. Did you hear what I said or no?
I heard you just fine, but I'm getting a bit of a network issue on this server.
Looking at the Azrai team, it wins on its cavalry. You know, there you have it right there. Alejandro taking out Rhine. They don't have good cavalry. They have decent cavalry, Rhine and Vick. Rhine playing in C League, Vick playing in B League. But Ephnel and Alejandro are both A League cav players. So looks like that's what Matt the Lord has, you know, that Azrai team, that's going to be their advantage. There's also a big faction diff between Azrai and Crusade. At the highest level, Azrai is a much better faction than Crusade. That's kind of what we're seeing. So yeah, we'll see what happens this round. He's taking down Legolas. Am taking down Sloppy, but we have to remember they have 3 lives.
Unfortunately, we have a little bit of a network issue, which is probably on my side. It doesn't seem to actually be affecting the YouTube stream, but my connection to the server is not very good, so this is turning to a little bit of a slideshow for now. Hopefully that won't persist through.
That's strange. What's crazy is that Rhine and Chains are playing cav. Oh no, Vick and Rhine are playing cav. They both died early on there.
No, they didn't. They really didn't perform that badly the first half.
How did Vick? Well, you know, the cavalry diff is so bad between these 2 factions, and that's what makes this interesting. The only reason we picked Crusade for this specific map, for the faction matchups, is because this is a Crusade themed map. But this is not a good map for Crusade. Crusade does okay on open maps. I mean, that's the best map for Crusade, but their cavalry just doesn't cook. It's really up to the individual player to play Crusade cavalry properly, and you gotta play kind of timid and meek-like. Uh-oh. Ephnel and Vick locked in a cav duel here. Hancock gets a shot onto Ephnel's horse, pretty effective. He's going to have potential to have Hunter. I don't know if he took the perk or not.
Because it's all on last lives, and Azra still has a couple of respawns left.
I think the only hope for the Azrai team here would have been Legolas playing infantry.
Wait,
now he's got 29 score playing archer.
Ooh, yeah.
Phil and Alejandro are out.
Legolas actually got more score than Hancock at least 1 or 2 rounds. His last side. But
if we look at Alejandro's score, even though his team got stomped, 274 score per round on cav is not bad. But when Vick gets 400 score per round, it's pretty tough.
And this is definitely Matt the Lord's round to win as Azrai. And I mean, I'd say these first 2 rounds of the second half, this is kind of where they need to turn it around and get some rounds in. That did not go as well as might have been hoped for them.
If I've met the Lord, I'm thinking I got to drop Legolas Archer. He's got 29 score. He's not. It'd just be better if he was a body in the infight so his cavalry could cook. That's the only advantage his team has right now is his cavalry. So having an archer weakens your cavalry's ability to assist. Does that make sense, Vick? Do you know why?
It does make sense. The infantry's going to evaporate too fast for them to have a turned around target to hit against. And Cav has to play off the archer and turn around infantry who are pushing them, but it's harder to do. And yeah, you turn into more of a supporting role and less of a damage dealing role, and it's a very different thing. And it can be better, but
I mean, Legolas is engaged in melee right now anyway. Like, what's the point?
Right. He only was shooting for 20 seconds there, feels like. And then he gets knocked out in his first life. Yeah, this server kind of hates me, actually. That's not looking too great for me.
Legolas is an excellent archer. I want to make that clear too. Is like Legolas is a really good player, but an archer's only as good as his infline, and when your infline is getting absolutely rolled, you don't have time to cook either. So letting the cavalry cook and not worrying about the archer would definitely help this team. Let's see if Legolas can get some shots in here. It's a 99 score right now. Let's see what he does with his last life on this set. If Legolas, Ephnel, and Alejandro don't die in this next fight, they could still possibly win this round.
Where's Hancock shooting from? Oh, from a bush.
He's down in their spawn. I don't know what he's shooting at.
He was shooting from a bush on the hill.
Flag is A.
Ooh. Uses that cover from a tree perfectly.
Legolas hiding in this infight, not shooting until Sloppy goes down. Great pick by Ephnel. Chains is now going to spawn Rabble. Let's see if he does it. Chains does spawn Rabble, so they are all ending this round. There will be no saving. We're going to get the Rabble lives off. Ephnel's now out.
I think Legolas just
not horrible. Legolas didn't die in that fight. They still have a chance. They got, looks like they have one remaining spear infantry. Getting to Hancock and killing him is going to be tough. Looks like his quiver's still full of arrows.
Crusade still have 3 respawns. I don't know if Azra really has a real chance to pull us together.
I mean, if they kill those Rabble, they have a better class than the Rebel do right now.
That's true, but...
there. Legolas shooting down one of the horsemen, but doesn't block.
Yikes.
Alejandro
Vick just gets 2 kills back to back. Legolas and then another cav knocked out. Yeah, it's over.
It's over. You know, Alejandro, he's doing his best here, but what can you do? What can men do against such reckless hate coming from the Hancock archer player?
Hancock is racking up a lot of score here.
Hancock as a player, I think he's probably the smartest player in this community. A little bit of Hancock glazing. However, I hate him at the same time because he inspires so many of my skirmish players to think that archer is the move. And just because it makes it look so easy, like, oh, I could do that. You know, I could shoot people in the head with the bow. But it is the hardest class to play in the game with the highest skill ceiling.
Definitely the highest skill ceiling. That's kind of it.
You have slow movement speed. Your bow's high damage dealing, but I mean, the speed. Yeah, there you go. So bye, Al.
Ooh.
Just shoot people in the back of the head, but you have to have an infline to be a good archer player. It's the most team-based class in the game. And you know, I'm scared to fight this this Hancock Crusader team. It's gonna be for my team in A division. I don't know that we're gonna have an answer for Hancock. We're gonna have to be able to out-inf that Chains Am Crusader 5 infline. Looks like the Azrai are sending their infantry in to fight. Oh, hello, Ephnel. Ephnel's here. Ephnel's... That was his first life. We're good. Hancock going mounted horse archer. He's going to shoot Al in the back of the head right here. Pop. Got him once. Shot him twice. And then Rhine finishes off Alejandro. Alejandro's now eliminated. He's done. Hancock going for the bump shot. Hancock has such a good opportunity to get some shots in here. This is the bump shot there. This is the shot on Bannerlord. Wow, excellent play from Ephnel there, getting a good stab on Hancock. Like that. These are first lives on... I'm just glad I'm not going to have to play Hancock on this frickin' map, man. I'd be so cooked. This is Hancock.
So
this is probably the best map for Hancock in the league.
Is there a limit on spectators in this server?
What's that?
Is there a limit on spectators on the server?
I'm not sure.
All right. Well, the reason I'm asking, I'm gonna restart my game while you guys change maps here. It's been running like a slideshow since I last told you. Like, it has not held up at all.
Oh, okay.
I'm wondering if there's too many spectators on the server because I have like 700 megabytes down and upload. I've got like fiber. It's got like no jitter, and the server's like running like ass for me. So I'm not sure if it's my fault. It could be. I'm gonna go ahead and leave the scoreboard on screen. But I'm gonna close the game, relaunching the game. Is there a limit on the number of specs in the server? Is like, I don't know. I'm just wondering if the server is able to handle the number of players currently on it for how it's sized.
My computer's taking a shit. There is not a limit. Can you hear me?
I hear you fine. Yeah, I think I don't know. Off the top of your head, do you know if you limit the utilization of any individual server on, are they just like running on one box, or they all have a dedicated like VM per server? Is that more of a Dragon question? All right, we're gonna resume the video feed. Let's see how this goes this time. All right. So far, it is better. Yeah, it's looking a lot better so far. Oh, that's relief. Only ruined the one half of the first map. It's going to update the scoreboard for the maps and factions. 1 second here. Looks like Bannerlord's team's on Blandia and Ambxdia's team's on Sturgia. Unless they decide to change teams. Alright, this will be Fort of Honor for our second map here. Alright, so this is the second map, first half, first set of Blandia versus Sturgia on Fort of Honor. We have Ambxdia's team on Sturgia, Bannerlord on Blandia. So far, it's been kind of a stomp. Actually, I didn't see the result because I had to leave the server last minute. I'm assuming that Ambxdia's team probably won that. For now, I'll go ahead and increment it to Ambxdia's team. I'm assuming, yeah, it would have had to have been 2 full rounds. It would have been still ongoing if Bannerlord had won. It would have fought another round for Ambxdia to get 6-0. It wouldn't have changed maps, so it has to have been the case that Ambxdia won that last round. So anyways. Oh, Dogwater wants to speak on stage. Dogwater, you're invited to the call. Go ahead and do the thing. First infantry fight, maybe? Alright, I think Blandia is the first to go down, and they're already pretty hurt. It's looking like a kind of a bad fight for Bannerlord here off the bat. Yeah, I don't see them turning this around. I don't know why he was dismounted. Did he lose a horse? I assume he didn't leave his horse voluntarily. I mean, Alejandro is one person who does that more than other players, but probably not right next to the infantry fight. Maybe it was. I don't know. What to say? Alejandro gets reared fighting Vick and then takes a hit. Chains is on Cav. You know, Chains has been playing Cav a lot recently. I think more well known for his infantry playing, but he's really not bad at Cav at all. I mean, I would consider him maybe more like a... I don't know if he's really... Probably not S-tier Cav yet. Probably A or B, but not sure where exactly in there. Legolas knocks him out. He was probably just trying to reset because he was low on HP anyways. Needs to be ready to rumble on his last life with a full horse and a full rider HP. Health pool. Whatever. Okay. Last fight here. They're all on last, and Landia is kind of getting hosed. This is looking pretty bad for the Lord's team. I think if they lose this, there's no way that they could even pull a draw off. This is their last chance to pull a draw, if I'm not mistaken. So Legolas is going to have to fight a 6v1 with a sickle to pull a draw off. I suppose not technically impossible, but practically impossible. Yeah, okay. I think that brings it to a 7-1 in favor of Ambxdia's team. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. All right. So Alejandro's on Cav, and I think who else? Ephnel. Ephnel, you know, not as much score from Alejandro as we might have expected to see from one of the top tier Cav players, but you do get unlucky here and there, even if you're the best Cav in the game. It's going for an early pick, I guess, on infantry. That's really bad news. Huge stab, probably 80 damage on his horse there at least, if not significantly more. Yeah, that's tough to take him. Oh, yeah, already dismounted. That's bad news. Sturgeon Cav gets reared on the flag and goes down almost immediately. That was Forsaken Chains, who, right, it kind of evens up. Did he just remount on... change his horse? I think it's what happened. Must have been Alejandro remounted. And the Lord's infantry goes down there, and again, it's looking to be kind of a snowball. They're not taking just any rounds against Ambxdia. Chains knocks at Alejandro. I think is that his last life? No, it was still his first life from when he changed his horse. You know, Ephnel made that look really easy, but it is kind of hard to always consistently hit those stabs after you dismount another cavalry player. So he gets that hit pretty easily. Makes it look easy. Oh, nice kill from Alejandro. So, I mean, the Lord, they have a couple of infantry players still up, but one is out. One of their best infantry players is out of the fight completely, and they are very hurt. I don't see Landia or the Lord having a real chance of taking this. And I think Ephnel is out. He's a respawn, but he's going to be very delayed to the fight. They're doing a smart thing, which is delaying the fight until Ephnel can be back in there. So, makes sense. Legolas goes down there. That seems pretty unnecessary for that to have happened, but I don't know. They didn't have a great chance of winning this round, but they did kind of eliminate any possibility that remained. Oh, was I wrong about that? He had a life? I didn't realize that. Maybe there's a reason he was playing risky. That was a really big hit on Chains from Legolas. And then Ephnel gets a good kill, but gets shot by Crusader, who must have picked up Legolas's bow. Okay, yeah, this is turning into a bit of a stomp here. Another round one from Ambxdia. So, I don't know if Hancock's been playing Archer this map. I haven't seen him shoot very much. Let's watch that. Let's see if he goes Sturgeon Bow. It's kind of the worst class for Archer, so that does make sense. I mean, Hancock is not bad on infantry by any means, so it makes sense that he is not choosing to play Sturgeon Archer. I would not be surprised if he goes crossbow when he's on Landia. Not that it would matter. It's already turned into an 8-0, so pretty much they're just kind of deciding how badly Matt the Lord is going to lose here. You know, a valiant effort on their players, their team. Yeah, there definitely are very skilled players on both teams. I think they're going in. Ambxdia had faced one of the weaker teams in the last round, where Matic had some really good players in his team, but I think the overall composition did not play to the strength of his most skilled player. What I mean by that is, Scrickster didn't really have enough solid infantry to back him up, and so he had actually to kind of, we could say, play beneath his qualifications on infantry so that, Beastmaster and Matic could be on count. I think Matic would have preferred, Beastmaster's not bad on count, but he probably would have preferred a solid, somebody to hold a shield on inf, so Scrickster would have a better chance to play off of him. Ephnel's resetting there to go back to Courser light cavalry. They are chasing Second Life, Legolas, I assume that is, in spawn. He's about to get knocked out here. They're trying to rescue him, but smart play. I think they didn't quite catch him off guard enough to be able to take advantage of that spawn position. Matt the Lord's team holding up for a pretty long time here. But Legolas goes down from, is that Fighting Chains? No, it's Crusader 5, I think. And Hancock comes in to help. Yeah, okay, they get moraled. Whoa, Jesus. All right, that was a rough half. That was a rough half for them. So we're moving into the second half of the second map, and we have up to, at most 6 rounds left, but probably more like 3 to 4 rounds left, depending on how well Ambxdia's team does here. They win the next 3, it would be a 12-0. They might, win 2, lose 2, and I think that the most that Mac could score here would be a 9-3 in Ambxdia's favor. Okay, let's see how this goes.
I'll tear your lip. Die, you pig.
So I expect to see at least some minor compositional changes now that Hancock will be on Glandia. He is one of the better, or best, possibly, NA archer players. So very likely to be on crossbow. Not a guarantee. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'm probably mistaken. I forgot who is on this half. I think this is the landing half the map. So not only do they have the better archer class versus Sturgia by far, but they have the better position. You can shoot into B, kind of roughly to these barrels. So I would not be surprised to see Hancock take a walk up these stairs and fire down into B. Definitely is an option. I'm not sure, but I'm curious to see what happens here. So I was totally wrong. That Sturgia is half the map, and I'm very silly. But I was correct that Hancock went crossbow. So I'm only half wrong. Rhine on infantry. Who's that? Kill right off the bat an Alejandro on Brigand. That is just one shot, I think. That might have been the first hit that he took, which has to be frustrating. Yeah, Matt is fighting on Sturgia for the first time. They're just getting obliterated here. This is not an even matchup. I think we've established that pretty much at this point. Hancock getting a lot of score, and just it's a very impressive matchup for Matt here versus Ambxdia's team. Ephnel goes Archer, even though he's on Legolas's team, and Legolas is on Recruit. Legolas on Recruit, I think that just means that they're not... I mean, it is their first round, so their eco's kind of messed up already, but it kind of seems like they're no longer playing seriously, which I can't say I'm really surprised if they already lost 9-0. You know, the 10th, 11th, or 12th round is not likely to turn out terribly different for them. So that might explain the class selection choices here on Brigand, because that's going to hurt his eco. He can't go... Well, I mean, if he's Archer, you know, he's not going to go Varian anyways, so who cares? Alright, that'll be a 10-0 in favor of Ambxdia. Okay, let's see. So 400 score to Ambxdia. I think he was just on infantry. That's a lot of score for an infantry player in one round. That being said, I mean, it's turned into a stomp, so I don't know. Multiple Brigand players, I think that they're kind of no longer optimizing for sensible play. They're optimizing for things that they think will at least be annoying or less fun to play against for Matt the Lord. I mean, what else can you do? Like, they're just kind of baiting shots, trying to knock out their cav. That was an interesting play where they try to flank all the way around with two very mobile infantry classes to hit the archer, Hancock, who got just a ridiculous amount of score last round. 425 score, like, for Cav is a lot. For Archer, I'd say it's a ton, but Crusader 5 gets a huge kick in and kills Legolas. I think Crusader 5 was one of the top players in a recent 3v3 tournament. I don't recall if he was in the winning team. I think he was, like, you know, definitely within one of the top 2 or 3 teams. Somebody will tell me in the comments which one it was. Probably number 2. I'm not certain about that from memory, so could be mistaken. I don't think that Matt the Lord's team is now, you know, taking this seriously at all. They're just kind of doing whatever, not really fighting together, going all over the place, flanking around, guerrilla warfare. I don't know. That was a pretty good kill from, was it Alejandro? That was Legolas. Crusader really gets these kicks in. Alejandro has 9 score on the second round, and he's all the way out. Which I don't think is entirely reflective of him. It's not necessarily him doing something wrong, but his team's just not really playing in a way that's going to be optimal for him to play off of his team. Is he even playing Cav in this round? I don't recall seeing him on Cav very much. I think he's been doing the spear throwing thing, so maybe not the best way to get score versus this team. We have an execution in the Sturgeon spawn. Alright, well, it's 11-0. Kind of over here. It's been very over for Matt the Lord's team for the past, I don't know, several rounds at least. Oops, I skipped ahead there. It's still at 11-0, not 12-0. Sloppy gets knocked out by the archer Hancock, and we have a brigand life from Alejandro, who's fighting 2v1, goes to help at the Lord, who's probably asking for help. Sturgeon Cav misses 2 stabs and is about to get dismounted. It's a pretty rough first fight, as it has been this whole time for Matt's team, unfortunately. I don't have any particular preference for or against either team here, although it's always a little bit unfortunate to see these kind of stomps. I'm sure it's not fun to play for the losing team, so I think it's more interesting when the matches are closer for a viewer. So, you know, not the closest match, but they can't all be close. Chains is getting a ton of score on Cav. Definitely has significantly increased his cavalry ability recently. Is he respawning? He's got to respawn. Although, I mean, to a certain extent, Matt's team appears to be possibly throwing, so I don't know that we can really draw many conclusions from how the players perform this last map. Certainly in this last half of this map has been kind of just people not playing very seriously. Alejandro's just kind of playing throwing spears, and I don't know. It's not really working out for him. He's just typing here at something to another player, I assume. He's just leaving. Okay. And Ephnel is last life here, mounted archer, except he can't shoot with his bow as this class. And Legolas is just delaying in spawn. I think I might just call it here because he's not dropping down. So it's just going to either be morale or somebody... All right. I think they're just having a debate, a scholarly debate in the chat here instead of actually fighting. Hancock is waiting for Legolas to leave spawn. There. Oh my gosh. Can we just let this guy die so I can end my stream here, please, guys? Come on. This is riveting gameplay here. Waiting for the morale to tick down low enough for Legolas to lose the match here. Dude, I'm gonna get super banned from YouTube if these comments get read. Maybe I'll just make the scoreboard larger. That's an idea. All right, finally, Jesus Christ. All right, that was a very painful way to end the final round of this 12-0. What a match. Glad it's over. It's definitely getting hard to watch there, waiting for someone to leave their spawn. Well played across the board. You know, I think Ambxdia is proving to be a tough team to beat. Their roster was looking pretty nasty from the standpoint of any other player fighting against them, and that's definitely proven to be the case here. I don't think the 6-1 that they fought against Matic was very meaningful. I think, well, I wish, Matic the best overall in this tournament and best of luck. I think just kind of via luck of the draw, or lack of luck on the draw. It's a pickup tournament. It's an auction-based thing, and if you overpay for one player and you're not able to use him optimally, then you're probably going to lose your matches pretty hard. And I think that's kind of been the case. I think his team is just not optimally structured, and he lost 6-1, forfeited at that point, so it got counted as a 12-1. So I don't think that counted too much to see Ambxdia, 6-1 or 12-1 Max team, depending on how you count it. But I think beating Matt's team, who had I think just an overall better structured team, meant a lot more here. Let's go check the scores for who do they fight and how do they do on Monday. And I'm referring to Matt the Lord's team. So yeah, Matt the Lord lost 9-7 to Les's team on Monday. I think Alejandro, Ephnel, Atsanba, Legolas, Matt the Lord, Warboss, those were their players on Monday. Very solid lineup. And it was a close match with Les, and they were even 7-7 at one point. So I think Matt's team was more of a match, expected to have a better chance than Maddox's team / Sidey's team. He has different aliases. But they had a better chance to get more rounds against Ambxdia, but they just didn't pick up even one. And, certainly Azrai versus Crusades, that's kind of would have been the time that you would pick up a round. So you have arguably a pretty significant advantage if played correctly. So I think that is it for this A-Division match, and we'll call it here for tonight. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for the Evans for hosting and organizing the events. Thank you to VK again for organizing the event and hosting the servers. I'll see you guys later.